In today's world of market volatility and uncertainty, your retirement plans need to be front and center. With ever-changing tax laws, healthcare worries, and an unpredictable stock market, don't overlook the vulnerability in your retirement planning. Protecting your family and estate will be difficult with shifting policies in Washington. It's more important than ever to keep an eye on retirement.
Hi there, and welcome in to Eye on Retirement, our new format. Coming to you from the retirementhelp.com studios. I'm your host, Matt Goolsby, and today I want to talk about something that has a tremendous impact on how confident retirees feel as they navigate their years ahead. And see, that's the importance of having a coordinated team, a team that helps you review the moving parts of your retirement, so you can make informed decisions. Retirement, see, it touches different areas like taxes, investments, estate planning, healthcare, and more. And while no approach removes all risks, coordination can help reduce the likelihood of something important being overlooked. A lot of people enter retirement thinking, well, I've got a tax guy and I've got my investment guy and we've set up our estate plan, so we're covered. But here's the reality. If those professionals aren't communicating with each other, you are the only one left trying to connect the dots. You're the one that has to recognize the questions to ask, the timing decisions, the documents that need updating, and how one choice can affect another. And for most retirees, through no fault of their own, they simply don't know what they don't know. And retirement planning, it's become increasingly complex. Tax laws change, Medicare rules change, investment strategies evolve. Estate documents need reviews as your life circumstances shift. A coordinated team helps you review the whole picture rather than relying on separate, disconnected conversations. So let me share with you an example. It's an anonymous story of someone, we're going to call her Sherry. Sherry and her spouse were diligent. They'd worked hard, saved, and did what they believed was the responsible thing. They had a tax preparer. They had an investment person. They had estate planning documents in place. Everything felt in order. But when her spouse unexpectedly passed away, Sherry discovered one of their rental properties had to go through probate. Now, nothing went wrong legally. Probate happens when certain assets aren't structured to transfer automatically. But for Sherry, this meant months of paperwork, delays, legal costs, and added stress at a time when she was already grieving. When she came to one of our in-person classes, she said something to me after the class I'll just never forget. And she said, "Matt, my biggest problem is I don't know what questions I should have been asking until it was too late." And that sentence captures what so many people experience. She wasn't irresponsible. She didn't ignore anything. There was no mistake made by any one professional. It was simply that no one was looking across all her areas together. Her tax professional focused on her taxes. Her investment person focused on her investments. Her attorney, at the time when they were doing their estate plan, focused on the legal documents. But no one was reviewing the interaction between those areas. That's why we developed our Core 4 report framework. Now, it's not a guarantee of results, and it's not a one-size-fits-all advice, but it's a process, a structured way to review 4 key areas of retirement: your retirement income, your estate plan, other risks like healthcare and long-term care considerations, and of course, the taxes. Because even though each area stands on its own, the impact of one certainly can influence the other. So, for example, decisions about retirement income can affect tax brackets. Tax brackets can affect Medicare premiums. Medicare choices can influence how much flexibility you have in retirement. Your estate documents, they may need to be updated based on how your accounts are titled or how your income is structured. And estate decisions like powers of attorney can affect who's able to help when life takes an unexpected turn. None of these exist in isolation. When retirees work with disconnected professionals, they often become the middleman. And that's what puts a lot of pressure on them during a time when the goal is to have an enjoyable retirement, not to manage multiple strategies and terminology. A coordinated team helps individuals review decisions in context, not just individually. So see, Sherry's story, it's a reminder that many retirees, they simply want to feel confident that someone is reviewing the big picture. They want to know that the questions are being asked on their behalf, questions they might not even realize matter. She came to us because she didn't want that experience again. She wanted the team approach, the coordination. She wanted clarity. And when she wanted to help identifying issues proactively instead of reactively. Now, everyone's situation is unique. No single strategy works for everyone. But having a process, a consistent year-to-year review that can help retirees remain informed as rules change and life circumstances evolve, that's what our Core 4 report process is designed to support. Structure, clarity, and coordinated evaluation. So if you're watching right now and wondering whether your retirement's being looked at from all angles, consider this. Schedule an introductory conversation with us. It's simply an educational call, no cost, no obligation, and not personalized advice. See, this 15-minute call, it helps individuals understand whether a coordinated process may be a beneficial solution for their situation. Because at the end of the day, retirement is not just about accumulating savings. It's about maintaining confidence in the decisions you make as you use your life savings. And having a coordinated team can help you approach those decisions with more clarity. And that's what we do every day as a team here. And when we come back, we'll talk with one of our tax advisors how tax considerations play a role in retirement. That tax advisor is my good friend Joshua Cicora. Certain strategies that may help retirees understand how timing and planning could impact your financial picture, you need to understand how these all come together. And that's what we do, and that's what our commitment is for this show. And you're watching Eye on Retirement from the retirementhelp.com studios, and we'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned.
Out on the water, there is a moment. Perfect synchronization. The team working together in harmony to reach their goal. Now, imagine finding a team of financial professionals to help run your course down the river of retirement. Market Advisory Group is that team. Financial advisors, tax professionals, estate planning attorneys, and Medicare advisors, all in the same boat. If you don't have a team like this in one place, it can become a hassle to relay information between them. When you come to Market Advisory Group, we bring everyone together for you to get you answers in real time, to help make sure you don't miss something that puts your unique plan off course. You shouldn't be the one doing all the work to keep your retirement on pace. You should have a team in the boat with you. Your voice telling them where you're at, where you'd like to end up, and how you want to get there. And at that point, everyone falls into sync, all pulling in the same direction, toward the same purpose. Your retirement's financial security. We are Market Advisory Group, proud sponsor of Shocker Rowing.
Welcome back into Eye on Retirement, coming to you from the retirementhelp.com studios. I'm your host, Matt Goolsby, and in this segment, we're shifting our focus to something that plays a role in almost every retirement decision, and that's tax planning. See, while taxes can't be avoided entirely, reviewing them carefully can help retirees make more informed decisions. So joining me is one of our tax strategists, I call you tax advisor, Joshua Cicora. Joshua, it's always great to have you on the show. Tell us about this tax planning and what's going on here.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. So taxes are one of the largest ongoing expenses in retirement, but there's a big difference between tax preparation and tax planning. Preparation looks backwards, planning looks forwards.
So that's a good point. So tax preparation, that's required by the government April 15th every year, right? But it mainly records what's already happened. Tax planning, on the other hand, that's about reviewing potential strategies that might help retirees avoid surprises. I mean, no strategy guarantees results, but timing and coordination can influence how taxes affect retirement income.
Exactly. Take something like Roth conversions. Moving money from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA is not right for everyone. It creates a taxable event. But for some retirees, evaluating a partial conversion, emphasis on evaluation, can help them understand whether future tax-free withdrawals might fit into their broader plan.
Tax-free sounds nice. Let's talk about a real life example here. And, again, we'll protect their identity. We're going to call them Tom and Linda. They came to us after they sold some investments on their own. They weren't aware that the sale would create a sizable capital gain. And we had reviewed their situation beforehand, or had we reviewed their situation beforehand, we may have been able to look at some of these losses and could offset some of that gain, but it wasn't about promising results. It was about reviewing the options earlier, before the decision gets made, not afterwards like you and I see so often.
Right. And stories like that are more common than people realize. Many retirees are making thoughtful decisions, but without a coordinated review, they may not see the full tax impact until after the fact. And that's why we encourage people to start with our 15-minute introductory phone call. It's educational, helps individuals understand whether deeper planning might be appropriate for them.
Yeah, that 15-minute call, I've had people call me on their lunch breaks. I've had people call me watching their grandkids. It's really easy to do. So let's break down how these taxes fit into our Core 4 report process. This framework, it looks at the retirement income, the estate plan, other risks like health insurance and long-term care, and taxes. That's what it spells report. Taxes are the area that I think affect most every other decision. But our goal is to not promise outcomes. It's to create structured, repeatable ways to view and review that all together with the financial advisor and the tax person.
Exactly right, Matt. And one of the biggest questions that we get from people is, how will my withdrawal affect my tax bracket? Or if I take income from this account instead of that one, what will that mean when it comes tax time? These are reasonable questions, and planning doesn't eliminate the uncertainty, but it sure can help retirees understand potential implications.
Yeah, I mean, before we were doing it this way, people would do their taxes and then they'd find out the surprises and they couldn't do anything about it. Tax planning lets them see it in advance. So another example comes to mind, a lady we'll call Sarah. Sarah had accumulated, she'd grown a large nest egg in her IRA over her career. She was concerned, though, that required minimum distributions in the future, that year, that age when you turn a certain amount, or when you turn a certain age, you have to take a certain amount out. In her case, reviewing the idea of a partial Roth conversion, not as a recommendation, but as an evaluation, helped her understand her options. More importantly, it gave her clarity about how different choices could affect her long-term tax picture.
And that's really the key word there, clarity. This isn't promises, it's not predictions. It's just helping individuals understand their potential outcomes of their choices. Each strategy has pros and cons, and each person's situation is unique.
Another area where I think people get caught off guard is Social Security taxation. Oof. I mean, we heard in the news last year that they were going to eliminate that. That didn't happen.
Not so much.
So some individuals are surprised to learn that up to 85% of their Social Security benefits can be taxable, depending on your income levels. But reviewing withdrawal strategies, the timing and the income sources, that may help retirees understand what to expect. And I don't know about you. Do you like surprises?
Not so much.
Not so much. We do better when we see things and we make an educated decision going forward.
Absolutely. And similar questions come up with capital gains. Some people aren't aware that they may qualify for a lower capital gains tax rate depending on their income. Again, it's not a guarantee, it's not a promise, but it's something worth reviewing annually.
So when you do this tax planning, it gives people not only an idea of what they might owe if they need to make an estimated payment or if they're going to get a big refund, but tax planning, that word we were using earlier, clarity. It gives people something they can see, they can think about, and have that conversation with their tax person and their advisor.
Nothing is scarier than the unknown, and tax planning helps drive out that unknown.
And so do you have any wealth out there? I mean, if you have any semblance of wealth, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, you need to be getting tax advice before the end of the year. And so for anyone watching, the first step is simply understanding where you stand. And that's why we start off with that 15-minute introductory call. It's not personalized financial advice. It's an educational conversation to see whether or not our coordinated process might be helpful for you.
And if you've attended one of our classes or workshops, you can even schedule a longer 60-minute review. This allows us to work through the Core 4 report framework in more detail. Again, it's educational, not a recommendation, and completely optional.
But when people go through this tax planning process, it oftentimes shows them things that the couple that we met the other day, they had the phantom income tax in the background. It was going to cost them $3,000 to $4,000 extra in taxes just because they weren't getting the coordinated advice.
And that's not the first time we've seen that either.
Or probably the last. And when we come back, we'll dive into Medicare planning with one of our healthcare advisors, Cory Heibert. Medicare, it's full of moving parts and timelines, so understanding how it fits into the larger retirement picture is extremely important. Stay tuned. You're watching Eye on Retirement from the retirementhelp.com studios. We'll return after this short break.
Managing assets, documents, or crucial decisions for yourself or a family member is no simple task. Estate planning is your legacy, and nobody knows this better than Eidelman Law Firm. In estate planning, meeting with your attorney, accountant, and financial advisor helps you prepare for your life and legacy. When you put together an estate plan, you will be prepared for the present and future. This should not be delayed. Call 1-800-4ESTATE or visit us online at eidelmanlawfirm.com. Eidelman Law Firm. Live for today, plan for tomorrow.
Retirement is supposed to be exciting, the reward for decades of hard work. But for many, it starts with a flood of questions. When should I take Social Security? How will taxes change when I stop working? What do I need to know about Medicare? And what happens to everything I've built when I'm gone? Retiring isn't just about leaving work. It's about stepping into a whole new season of life and making sure you're ready for it. That's why there's retirementhelp.com, a free online resource built specifically for people just like you. Clear, trustworthy information on the decisions that shape your retirement. RetirementHelp.com is here to empower you with the resources and education you need to retire with ease. What sets RetirementHelp.com apart from other resources is how we view retirement planning. We believe it takes a team, because taxes can affect Medicare costs, and finances can affect estate planning. We take a holistic approach to retirement, so you don't have to bounce around like a pinball to get your questions answered. We have articles designed to answer questions you may have, webinars that dive deeper into topics like Social Security and taxes in retirement, videos, TV shows, and podcasts exploring real-life issues retirees have run into, as well as daily updates addressing changes in the retirement landscape. Don't let doubt keep you up at night wondering if you're ready or not. Visit retirementhelp.com today and start planning the retirement you deserve.
Welcome back into Eye on Retirement. Again, coming to you from the retirementhelp.com studios. I'm your host, Matt Goolsby. In this segment, we're focusing on one of the more complex areas of retirement, in my opinion, and that's Medicare. Medicare decisions, they can influence not only your healthcare coverage, but also retirement income planning and your overall costs. So joining me today is one of our healthcare advisors, Cory Heibert. Cory, thanks for being here. Tell us what's going on with Medicare.
Thanks, Matt. Medicare is one of those areas where many people assume they'll figure it out when they get there. But the reality is that the timing, coverage choices, and income decisions, they all play a role. And while Medicare doesn't cover everything and no plan eliminates all of the risk, reviewing your options carefully can help individuals feel way more informed than they were before.
That's right. Medicare isn't just one program. It's a collection of different parts, each with its own coverage rules, enrollment timelines, and cost structures. You've got the different parts of Medicare, which is all confusing. Part A, Part B, Part D, all these Medicare Advantage plans, Medigap plans, every one of these things have details that can be influenced by out-of-pocket costs.
And that's one of the biggest misconceptions that I hear in the Medicare land space. And that is that my employer plan will keep me covered right up until I retire, or I'll just sign up when I need it. But whether coverage is considered creditable can make a significant difference. If somebody delays enrolling without having creditable coverage, that can lead to penalties and sometimes lifelong penalties.
Those penalties, so many people are afraid of triggering those, but that reminds me of someone, let's call him Jim. He delayed enrolling in Medicare Part B because he believed his employer coverage met the requirements, that credible coverage, like you said. But when he came to us during a retirement class review, we discovered that the plan wasn't considered credible for Part B. That created that lifetime enrollment penalty. While we can't remove those penalties after they occur, reviewing coverage earlier may have helped him avoid the issue.
That's exactly right, and that is why healthcare is included in the Core 4 report process. In Step 2 of that review, we look at risks such as healthcare transitions, Medicare timelines, and coverage gaps. It's not about predicting outcomes or guaranteeing lower cost. It's about reviewing whether certain choices align with Medicare's rules and the individual's needs.
So we had Joshua Cicora, one of our tax advisors, on before this segment. He and I are going through tax planning right now with a bunch of our clients. We were doing a Roth conversions the other day, but we didn't want to trigger that higher expense of IRMA, and that could have cost more money there. And it's just another perfect example of why we need to do tax planning. And again, have another story here. Let's call her Susan. Susan was turning 65, and she was overwhelmed by the Medicare options available to her. She'd already narrowed it down to a plan she thought she was going to choose, and she thought it was the right fit. But during our review, Cory noticed that the prescription list that she was on would have cost significantly more under the plan she was about to choose, right?
That's right. Her initial plan choice would have led to higher ongoing prescription cost. She wanted to go with the plan that her friend was on.
Oh.
But after reviewing alternative plans, we found an option that better aligned with her needs at that time and reduced her estimated annual cost. Outcomes vary from person to person, but reviewing options can help individuals understand the difference between the plans.
So would Medicare decisions, they can also interact with taxes, like I was suggesting earlier, and income decisions. For example, the income levels may influence how much you're paying for your Part B Medicare and your Part D, that drug plan. That's why having a coordinated review is so important. No single decision stands alone. How many financial advisors do you think out there make sure their clients are getting their Medicare needs addressed?
Few and far between.
Few and far between is right?
And people are often surprised to learn that the certain withdrawals from retirement accounts can increase their income for Medicare purposes. I even come down and ask you guys frequently if making a withdrawal is going to make a change. But again, it's not about avoiding the income altogether. It's simply about understanding how decisions might interact so retirees can plan accordingly.
I think you hit on it there. It's really the message of the entire episode today. And it's whether it's taxes, income, estate planning, or Medicare, the decisions in each category can influence another category. And that's why having a coordinated team of professionals who communicate and review these issues together can help retirees approach decisions with, I think Joshua and I were using the word clarity. Cory, I mean, what would be the first step here?
The first step is simply understanding where you currently stand. And that's why we offer that 15-minute introductory phone call. It's an educational conversation, not individualized advice. It's a chance for someone to learn whether a more thorough review is right for them.
And if you've attended one of our in-person classes or workshops, you can schedule that 60-minute, that step 2. That's where we walk through the Core 4 report process in more detail. Again, it's not a recommendation. It's just an educational, structured look at how the different areas of retirement planning connect or overlap.
And Medicare is one of those areas where just a little bit of preparation can go a long way in helping retirees understand their options. And reviewing choices annually may help them stay aware of the changes that could affect their coverage.
Yeah, because this stuff changes as soon as you get it down, whether you or the retiree, you got to learn it next year for different because the laws will change, plans change, coverage options change. Maybe the client's health changes. That's something happens, right? So, when we come back next week, we'll continue exploring how coordination plays a role in retirement. But for now, to learn more about your situation, call 833-44-CORE4 or visit us online at retirementhelp.com to schedule your introductory call with this team. Because that team approach in retirement is so important. Think again, the word we used was clarity. And if you don't see everything in one spot, if you're not looking at everything in a coordinated effort, you, my friend, you that's watching, you are the retiree. It's your responsibility to go find a tax person and get tax planning before the end of the year. It's your responsibility to make sure your risk is aligned for whatever economic conditions we're facing. It's your responsibility to make sure you have the right estate plan. And unfortunately, if you're not working with a team, the only common denominator out there is you, the retiree. And we talked about Sherry in the first part of the show. Sherry didn't know what questions she needed to ask until it was too late and cost her thousands of dollars in probate costs. So if you're ready to take control of your financial future, start with the Core 4 report process. Step 1 is to call 833-44-CORE4 and schedule that 15-minute chat with us. That step 1 again is simple. Schedule your 15-minute introductory call with us today by dialing 833-44-CORE4 or visit us at retirementhelp.com. From there, we'll guide you through a personalized review to help you with your retirement from unexpected surprises. Don't wait. Your future deserves clarity and confidence. Call now or go to retirementhelp.com. I'm Matt Goolsby reminding you that we're here to keep an eye on retirement.